Molo Sanbonani, hello, how's it? Good day. Welcome to the Vuka Nazo Show. My name is Sihle Ngobese, aka Big Daddy Liberty. Remember, whether you're watching this simulcast on Facebook or YouTube, do me a favor, hit that like button right now. If it is on YouTube, then we'll subscribe to the show and hit that bell notification. Help me reach my goal of 50,000 subscribers by the end of the year. Guys, remember, we have a website. Find us, and you can also support us financially there by going to BigDaddyLiberty.com. Now, with that being said, enough of the jibber jabber. Let's get straight into the news. Okay, we begin with this character this week, a annoying character, one who has been a momish of the week here on the show on many occasions. I'm talking, of course, about someone who we commonly call the asshat on the show. That is the police minister, Bheki Cele. Here's a character who holds the actual one important role within government, the only role I, as a classical liberal and libertarian, consider to be a legitimate function of the state, and that is law enforcement, enforcing the law. In other words, the South African Police Service. He's a guy who's meant to be actually doing something in order to bring law and order in a society like ours, which has descended into chaos. But no. If anything, Bheki Cele has come to have a reputation as being not so much a minister of police, but a minister of condolences. And why? Because we don't know him for fighting crime. Okay, we know him for actually showing up after the crime has been committed to show condolences. He's the minister of condolences because he'd rather rock up and cry crocodile tears then actually fight serious crime which is affecting you and I as citizens. So yes, I am scathing in my criticism of Bheki Cele. I'm scathing of the management of the South African Police Service, and I'm scathing of the South African government, which has effectively let South Africa descend into an absolute hellhole that you and I have to navigate on a day-to-day basis. But now, what am I referring to? We now have hard numbers as to what it has cost us since 2018 for Bheki Cele to be not the Minister of Police, but the Minister of Condolences, flying across this country, dotting the landscape, not to do his job, but to basically be an attention whore, someone who the cameras for the media have to always pay attention to. We have hard numbers. And how much has it cost us for Bheki Cele to be all over, to cry across this country? Well, 8.2 million rand. What am I referring to? Let me go to this independent online piece that basically citing a parliamentary question in which the response was this. Now, since 2018, Cele crisscrossed the country on 85 flights to attend to crime scenes, slaying cops' funerals, imbizos, monitoring visits for police recruits, a presidential imbizo in Mpumalanga, a presidential meeting in KwaZulu-Natal, and a military veterans meeting, among a litany of other events. End of quote. But now, oh my goodness, the waste, people, the waste. Why charter a plane for all of this nonsense? How does any of this nonsense help in the fight against crime? How does spending 8.2 million rand on Bheki Cele actually fight crime? I don't know. Would that money not be best spent giving it to the air wing of the South African police force for them to buy perhaps a helicopter or perhaps provide fuel for the current fleet of planes and helicopters that the South African police service have to actually fight crime? I don't know. Why are we not using this 8.2 million rand perhaps on other things? Maybe buying some more police vehicles to stop this nonsense of people calling police stations and being told that there's no police van at the moment. You know what? I don't know. Yay, Mensa. Are we not just governed by absolute idiots? Absolute idiots, characterized really in terms of law enforcement efforts in this country by a twat in the hat. Again, I must keep stressing this. We are spending money in a fruitless and frivolous way for one man and his PR team to basically travel around the country to be seen to be doing their jobs, but not actually doing their jobs. Don't believe me? How about you do me a favor? Ask the people around you right now as you're watching this video. Do they feel safer today in South Africa than they have in the past? And the short answer is no. And why? Because this guy is the political leadership of crime fighting in this country. Goodness gracious me, but it gets worse. Because now we have an understanding of what these planes were. It's not just one chartered flight or chartered aircraft. It's 4 different aircraft that were used, such as the luxury that this individual has. And of course, as I said, he travels with his PR team. So what does this article say even further? Let me just read this final piece that says, now, these so-called communication flights referred to are the Cessna Sovereign, it's a type of plane which costs SAP 6.6 million rand, a Pilatus PC-12 plane, of which the flights cost about 1.2 million, a King Air 90, the flights cost 376,000, and a Pilatus PC-6 Porter, which of course those flights chartered for about 12,000 rand. It's unclear whether these are rented or owned by SAPS, as they hadn't responded at the time of writing, end of quote. Yeah, guys, politicians never skimp on themselves. It's always the best. They spend the most on themselves, and they spend little, if at all, nothing on actually the core functions of what they're meant to do. If I was a police officer in the air wing of SAPS, and maybe I'd gotten feedback saying, oh, you can't do this mission because there might not be enough in the budget, I'll be livid reading this nonsense. And the question I want to leave you is really this. 2 questions, if anything. Number 1, why is Bheki Cele flying effectively private, chartering flights, and not flying commercial, which would be much, much cheaper? And number 2, of what value, of what use is any of this to us, a citizenry who are literally living in fear because of the uncontrolled crime in this country? All right, that's it for this episode of Vuka Nazo. Please, hey, let me know what you think about this particular matter. Leave a comment, whether you're watching on Facebook or on YouTube. The most important thing you can do is to, yes, hit that like button, but more importantly, share the stream. Please share it widely. With that being said, if you're looking to support the work that we're doing here, and it's the advocacy work in particular, then please consider contributing to the show. How do you do that? Find a payment method that suits you at our website. That's at bigdaddyliberty.com. Now, if you like any of the stories that we covered here, the links are in the descriptor. With that being said, thank you for watching. I'll see you on the next episode of the Vuka Nazo Show.